Hey everybody, just doing a little video. I gotta go to Long Island City. I'm just gonna go down 2nd Avenue and then cross over to 59th Street Bridge. It's one of those gloomy New York days. Yeah, I saw a taxi driver yesterday. He got ripped off by a fare, and he was chasing after the guy in the street. I was wondering what the laws were on that. He looked like he needed help, so I jumped out to try to help him. But the guy like just took off fast, just started running, and there was nothing we could do. And I was wondering what the laws were on that. Like, it must be difficult when you're a taxi driver. Those guys are working hard, you know. And someone runs off on you. Are you legally allowed to grab the guy? Can you hold him? I mean, I would imagine the best option would, I was telling him, I think it's better off if you handle everything in your car. This way, if somebody fails to pay, you demand payment, you know, before you exit the car. If not, you could try to hold them inside the car. But I mean, it's a difficult situation. You hope people don't do that, but they do. I mean, I've had situations where people didn't pay for services rendered, and it's not an easy situation. I mean, I got kicked out of a building one time because a lawyer, I didn't really recognize that they were like a snake firm. I thought they were legit, but these guys were scammers. And I put a system in, and then I asked for the credit card, and they were like, oh, we're not going to pay you because you took the old equipment. There was some old equipment that they told me to dispose of, and then they were demanding, saying that I owed them for it. So I knew right then and there I was scammed, but I tried taking the stuff off the wall, and they didn't go for it. They called NYPD, and I actually got removed from the building without my equipment. So they said you got to handle it in a small claims court. There's nothing you can do. And at that point I was screwed. So there are complicated laws that you have to be careful. Had I assaulted anybody or pushed anybody, then I would have had an assault charge against me. So you can't go pushing people or, you know, knocking people out of your way to try to get equipment. It's not legal. And that was one thing that I realized after that whole incident. I realized, oh boy, I guess I'm against what's allowed here. And basically what the cop was telling me was, if you put something in for a customer and they refuse to pay, you got to go to small claims court, which makes it really difficult. So that's why you should probably secure payment before you mount equipment. You know, get a credit card deposit on file, get something signed. This way you're covered. Oh, on another note, I saw that the Kawasaki released yesterday the 2022 KLR 650, which was kind of cool. That was neat to see that. Look like a nice bike. Has a ABS. I thought that was very fortunate that they added ABS to it. That's a very important feature. I guess in Europe, in order to have that bike sold in Europe, you have to have ABS. They made it as an option in US. I don't know why they're doing that, because ABS is very important. They should just make ABS switchable on off for people that are going to use the bike as a true enduro off-road. And then you'd be fine. You know, they could switch it on and off. And then it's fuel injected, which is nice. That's really, really nice to have. So I think the new KLR will have some important safety features. The only problem was, and I knew that was going to happen with the ABS, it was going to bring up the weight. It's 25 pounds more than the original 2018 KLR, which I knew that there was nothing you can do about that. But the KLR is a heavy bike. I mean, if you manhandle it, it's kind of hard when you get at low speed. When you're driving at normal speed, it's not bad. Once you get up there in speed, it could be a problem. Yeah, it's too heavy a bike to be manhandling. You know, even in the dirt, it's pretty heavy. If you lay it down a few times, you're going to be really tired. I have an XR650 that's much lighter. 375 pounds. Actually, around 360. That's not too bad. The KLR is 440. If you got a full tank of gas, you're going to be 445, something like that. It's a very heavy bike, but in the city you're more planted, definitely more planted, so it's good in that respect. I'm doing something on video I probably shouldn't be doing, ditching it into the bike lane, but it's just not moving. So, and I need to go on this bridge coming up, so kind of like just ditch it in here, but not totally into the bike lane in this hatch area. Usually won't bother you if you do that. This is a legal lane right here, so you can scoot around. But don't get me wrong, if a cop sees you doing that, definitely gonna want to talk to you, and you might have to scoot-doodle out of there. You know, traffic enforcers, they don't bother you when you're scooting into the bike lane. Got to keep it slow though. I've seen guys flying I've seen guys, you know, now that the Rona happened, a lot of people just jump into that bike lane with sport bikes. You know, they'll be flying pretty fast. And you got people that are eating in those little outdoor dining areas, and they step into there, so it's kind of dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous just to ditch into the bike lane, but if you keep it around 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour max, just scoot in there. I'm keeping it at bike speed. Because this is not moving. Yeah, I I gotta put my shield up. It's starting to fog. Yeah, so anyway, the way you got to do it, if you see like traffic where it's not even moving like this, you can scoot into the bike lane, but you got to use extreme caution. And obviously it's not legal, so there's a lot of things in New York that are weird. Like in LA, lane splitting is totally legal. California, the whole state, lane splitting is totally legal. But if you go anywhere near the shoulder or the third lane, you know, lane number 3, if you go near the shoulder, I've gotten tickets like immediately in LA. They're very particular about the laws in LA. You got to follow them exactly. Where things in New York get bended a lot. Like lane splitting is not legal here, but it's totally tolerated. Because why would anybody drive a motorcycle in New York if you couldn't lane split? This is 2nd Avenue and then approach the 59th Street Bridge. Going into Queens. I'm going to Long Island City. Oh, put my shield down again. I had the anti-fog, but it fogs up if you have your shield closed the whole time and you're going slow speed. High speed's okay though. You get enough airflow in the helmet. I have an HJC helmet. Actually, I'm pretty happy with this helmet. I had AGV before. Not too happy with AGV. It's kind of delicate. But, you know what? HJC is pretty good. I know they've been around a long time. It's a Korean brand. It's a decent helmet. The shield is definitely strong on these HJCs. I've dropped it, and it just got like a tiny little scratch. I dropped it on concrete. And it did not get messed up. Which, my AGV, I dropped that one time, and the shield was so bad you couldn't even see through it. So, I'm going to do another video, though, where I'm not driving, and I'll show some features on the KLR. But I have a pretty good feeling about that 2022. Actually, you have no choice. I mean, if you want a new KLR, you're going to have to buy the new one that they have out. But fuel injection could do nothing but help the bike. I don't see how it would hurt it. A carburetor is more maintenance. You have to be careful with it. You have to, you know, when you store the bike for more than a month, you have to run it dry. If anything, you know, the fuel injection can totally handle sitting, because it basically it doesn't have any fuel in the system unless you have the bike on. You hear the fuel pump runs, and that's it. So definitely there are going to be some cool features. The ABS, if you're driving the KLR in the street, is an absolute must. I mean, it's a heavy bike. If you lock up that front wheel, it's a 21-inch wheel. If you have the wrong type of tires, or even the stock ones that come on the bike, you know, when you first get the bike, you're not going to rip off tires. You're going to use it. You're going to use the tires till you wear them down and put new ones on that you like. But without anti-lock, you know, the stock tires on the KLR, I've lost it on those. They're not easy to maintain contact when you lock up the brakes. It's a safety issue. And I think ABS is a great idea. There's some other things they did that you could do yourself, like the HID headlight, LED HID. Well, I don't know if it's just LED headlights, but I think they went LED on all the lights on the bike, which is a great idea. I have LED on my back light with a safety light that flashes when you brake. Yeah, but definitely those features on a new KLR is a good idea. Now, if you have an existing KLR and you're, you know, a seasoned rider with it and you know the bike in and out, that's a question. I don't think you would want to upgrade until you have to. And then the problem is, would you want to get a KLR? Because Yamaha came out with the T700. Now, I wouldn't drive that bike in New York because it's too heavy. It's a heavier adventure bike. But if I was in California, if I was in LA and I was commuting on my bike, I would much rather be on a Yamaha T700 than a KLR. A KLR is a single-cylinder thumper. When you get on the highway, you know, on the freeway there, the 101, the 405, people are doing 80, you know, you're going to be winding out the bike a lot. Even though the KLR can handle it no problem, it's like small bursts of speed on the KLR are great. You know, if I jump on a highway here, I can do 90 miles an hour no problem, but I don't want to continually do that. But as far as city driving like this, KLR is perfect. And if you have an existing 2018 or 2016, you know, any one of those years except for the oil burning years, you're probably better off just to keep it until you load it up with miles and it's all used up, and then you got to get a new bike, and then you could get a new KLR. Oh yeah, I met this customer, Hennigley. Their office is here.